I would have knocked
that.
him the out. And it's a reason why, you know what I mean, they went the other way. Stop playing with
Thank
me.
you. Thank you.
Stop playing with me. Real boxing motherfuckers know why they went the other way. He wasn't ready yet. He needed a couple of more fights, they said. Stop playing. Y'all be
Come on, bro. That's what I'm talking about. We already said
That's
that.
right. That's right.
But I don't know.
It ain't his time. Brian
That's
said the
right.
same thing. It ain't his time yet.
And I be trying to be nice because I support the young fella and all that. And he black and shit. I want to see him succeed.
That's my thing.
Niggas can't come up to me and do the same that they can do with other niggas. Niggas don't do that with me. I would slap the piss out of niggas' face. Niggas know who to play with.
But that was also what I said. His career is already there.
Niggas don't even really be saying my name. They be like, oh, I'm with everybody. I'm on everybody. I would stop everybody. Niggas say my name. Niggas say I knocked Terence Crawford out.
Can't lie. He also said he was 10 steps ahead of you. There seems to be some friction there. I know it's something that dates back. Are you surprised to see this after a win of that caliber?
No, I don't even care. None of that stuff don't bother me. But it's okay.
Terence Crawford acknowledged that the attention has now shifted toward Jaron "Boots" Ennis. Rather than trying to stop the younger generation from taking over, Crawford openly encouraged Boots to continue moving forward. He said he wishes him nothing but success and genuinely hopes the young star accomplishes great things throughout the remainder of his boxing career.
Boots era, I pray and hope that, he take it to the extreme. I pray nothing but success for him and his family, and all in all, it's all about competitiveness. And people want to see, this generation, how would they do with the previous generation? The same way with people comparing me to Floyd. We'll never fight, so I wish him nothing but the best.
When reporters asked Ennis about his recent interaction with Crawford on social media, Boots quickly brushed the subject aside. He made it clear that he has no desire to revisit old exchanges or waste time on online arguments. Instead, his attention is firmly directed toward building the next chapter of his career and creating a legacy that can eventually speak for itself.
All types of stuff, eyes closed. Like, when I left the ring, I hadn't had no cuts, no bumps. My eyes wasn't swollen, nothing. Like, I went in the ring the same way. I went in the ring and came out the ring the same exact way. So, I don't know. It is what it is.
Right after the fight, Terence Crawford tweets, "I'm going to keep my comments to myself, but y'all get it, I hope." What did you make of that?
I ain't worried about what nobody got going on. That one stuff don't bother me. I be locked in on what's in front of me and these other champions. And like I said, I'm here to take over this division, this sport, this game mine.
But it does seem like there's something there. I can't lie. He also said he was 10 steps ahead of you. There seems to be some friction there. I know it's something that dates back. Are you surprised to see this after a win of that caliber?
No, I don't even care. None of that stuff don't bother me.
But it would be a massive fight, right? I feel like he's going to come back at some point, and I think that you could be the guy to bring him back. That's a big money fight for you.
We'll see. As of right now, he retired. So he what do you say? He said he joined his retirement, right?
Crawford also shared an interesting story involving promoter Eddie Hearn. He explained that long before a potential fight with Canelo Alvarez became a major topic, he challenged Hearn to prove how confident he was in Boots by actually putting money behind a matchup between them. According to Crawford, Hearn declined the proposition, and that response told him everything he needed to know. From Crawford's perspective, there was no reason to continue the conversation after Hearn made that decision.
We've been talking about that for a long time. But the crazy thing about it is I told Eddie, I said, Eddie, this is before Canelo. I said, Eddie, you keep talking about this fight so much. Put your money up. Eddie said, I'm not paying for that fight. I said, why not? You believe in your fighter? I'm not paying for that fight. I said, I rest my case.
There's no denying that a fight with Terence Crawford would represent the biggest financial opportunity of Ennis's professional career. Despite that potential payday, however, Boots refused to let rumors or unnecessary drama distract him. He rejected the suggestion that Crawford was personally calling him out and insisted that he doesn't pay attention to outside opinions. Instead, Ennis asked reporters to stop bringing Crawford into every interview because his focus is currently directed toward other goals.
Right?
Yeah, you could say that probably, but it's other big fights out here for sure too, though. So,
Do you consider him a hater?
I don't consider him anything. I don't even care. Like I hear people just keep asking me questions about it. I don't even pay him no mind. I don't pay none of these people no mind. Don't ask me no questions about him. For real. That's how I feel.
I understand. It's just new stuff. You know, when that's being tweeted like seconds after the fight, it's hard not to ask you about it. You understand, right?
No, for sure. But
Crawford did provide one piece of constructive criticism about Ennis's approach inside the ring. While praising Boots for his tremendous speed and explosive athleticism, he noted that the young champion sometimes chooses to exchange punches when there is no real reason to do so. Crawford believes Ennis can occasionally rely too heavily on his natural ability instead of maintaining disciplined boxing fundamentals. As the competition becomes tougher, Crawford stressed that raw talent by itself may not always be enough to secure victory.
He's faster than most, he's more explosive than most, but at the same time, he's shown in the past that he can get careless and that he's going out there just to fight, you know, and I don't think when you get higher and higher, that's going to be enough.
Eddie said this would be a massive.
Coming off his impressive win over Xander Zayas, Jaron "Boots" Ennis remained determined to take control of his own division. He encouraged fans and reporters to stop constantly connecting his name with Terence Crawford and instead pay attention to the opponents directly in front of him. For Boots, the priority is continuing his own journey rather than repeatedly discussing another fighter's career.
You've been tired of hearing about Terence Crawford throughout the build-up to this fight, but he did tweet something that definitely seemed like in relation to this fight without saying much, but, you know, given a tweet right after the fight. Any response to Terence Crawford, who had something to say?
Yeah, we ain't worried about it. We retired. You know, we focus on tasking and taking over this division. We ain't worried about no retired fighters.
Yeah, y'all keep on throwing Terence up. Terence, he retired. Leave Terence alone. Let him do what he's supposed to do. Y'all may have fun.
Throughout the discussion, Ennis showed little interest in looking backward. His attention stayed firmly on the active champions and leading contenders standing between him and complete control of the division. Rather than chasing legendary names from the past, Boots made his priorities clear. He wants to challenge the fighters who currently possess world titles and establish his own position at the top.
Way stronger this weight class. I should have probably been moved up, but as you know, I was staying down there, you know, trying to, be undisputed down there, and those guys were down there playing around, and so I had to, move up, and then I think that was the best decision I made, because I think I would have stayed at that weight for too long.
I gotta ask you this, like, I know you be tired of talking about Bud, but I remember a couple weeks ago, there's a Gillian Wallow put out a video, and Bud was on the other side saying, I would knock that Boots out. Like, did you watch that, and what was your reaction to that?
Oh man, I'm in camp. I don't even worry about what he retired. I ain't worry about what nothing he got going on. I'm locked in. I'm focused on tasking him, and that's the end of his eyes. I'm locked in on that.
Does part of you still want to fight him though?
I'm not.
You're not thinking about it.
Say that one more time.
I said, does part of you still wish you can fight him?
He's a retired fighter.
Sean Porter offered a different perspective based on his own experience sharing the ring with Terence Crawford. Having faced Crawford himself, Porter understands firsthand how exceptional his abilities are. He believes Crawford operates at a level reached by only a small number of fighters throughout boxing history. In Porter's opinion, Ennis still has more accomplishments to collect before he can realistically be placed in that same category.
Yeah. I think I think Terence stops him
It's
late.
such a special fight because you got two alpha males in the ring that are true alpha males. You know what I mean? I was an alpha male until I got in the ring with that dude.
It just
and that dude, like, it was like the more he wasn't allowing me to do what he wasn't, and it was like, damn, okay, well then, you know.
You had one of them in eights and the other in sparring?
I don't know, because that dude hit me with a right hand in the sparring, and I was like, yeah.
Even so, Porter believes a Crawford versus Ennis matchup would have been an incredible fight. He doesn't expect either man to dominate the other with ease. Instead, he envisions a highly technical battle filled with adjustments, accurate counterpunching, precise timing, and elite ring awareness. To Porter, the matchup could have resembled the classic technical encounters between James Toney and Mike McCallum, where both fighters were constantly forced to think and react throughout every moment of the contest.
Terence is just
somebody getting stopped.
I don't know. This fight right here, if this fight were to happen this year, it will go down in history as one of the classic fights that go with the Marvin Hagler and Tommy Hearns, that go with the Ray Leonard and all of those.
You know
guys.
what fight I always thought these two would resemble their own way was when James Toney would fight Mike McCallum.
Oh wow!
And they would have. Go watch those fights. You will see the highest level of exchanges in box.
Don't. Yeah.
Counter. Like just
with speed.
Tim Bradley approached the Crawford-Ennis discussion from a practical business standpoint. He reminded fans that modern boxing is influenced by financial decisions just as much as performances inside the ring. Because of that, Bradley advised Boots Ennis not to sit around waiting for Crawford and instead continue accepting the fights available to him. Staying active, earning major paydays, and strengthening his reputation should remain his priorities. Bradley's view is that Crawford has already established his legacy, while Boots needs to concentrate on creating one of his own rather than pursuing somebody else's accomplishments.
Bro, because trust me, this game is more business than sport.
So what do you do if you're Boots? What do you do to get those?
You look to maximize your money and fight somebody that's willing to step in the ring with you. Maximize what you get. Don't worry about what the other guys get, just to get active. He's getting forgotten. Just chase it. Why is he chasing Crawford? Don't chase the bag. Make yourself a name. Make a name for yourself. You know, he just want to go straight to the top, and it's like, bro, Crawford's on a different level, different pay scale. You know, Crawford's at the penthouse. This kid.
Shakur Stevenson also gave his assessment, describing Jaron "Boots" Ennis as one of the elite fighters competing in boxing today. However, he stopped short of labeling Boots as the next Terence Crawford. Stevenson believes comparisons like that overlook the individual qualities that make every great fighter different. Having known Ennis for years, Shakur said he has never questioned Boots' ability and has always believed he possesses the talent required to become a championship-level fighter.
Dr. Boots Ennis, Eddie, a couple other people, called Boots the natural successor to Terence Crawford, and obviously I know your relationship with him. Do you feel that high on Boots as well, or?
Hell yeah, I think Boots is a hell of a fighter. I don't know about the natural sensation, whatever that is to Terence Crawford. I think Boots is his own fighter, Terence is his own fighter, but I think they both hell of a fighters. I've been around Boots for years.
Max Kellerman then considered what could realistically convince Terence Crawford to return for a fight with Ennis. He suggested that Boots' performance against Xander Zayas could play an important role in determining how much interest the matchup generates. A dominant performance would naturally increase demand from fans, while any obvious weaknesses could potentially reduce excitement. The panel also agreed that Crawford's competitive personality and extraordinary accomplishments, including his victory over Canelo Alvarez, could eventually tempt him back into competition despite previous statements about stepping away.
If Boots looks totally dominant against Zayas, Crawford hasn't fought now in a year. He's almost 40 years old. If Boots looks vulnerable,
Crawford ain't doing that.
I don't know. But here's the other thing. Just me saying that out loud. If Crawford hears a couple people saying that, he'll come back and fight him no matter what, right?
Yeah. But if you turn down that money from Canelo, and you can easily beat him again, because you just.
He hasn't been out of the ring that long. I'm not saying he's retired yet. I know he's. I think he believes it, but
I'm saying
he's a fighter.
He dominated Canelo, the great Canelo. He dominated him. No shot for Canelo. And they offered him more money, and they begged him to come back, which would be easier fight if he did it.
Showbiz offered a strong opinion of his own, questioning fans who suddenly started insisting that Crawford would have easily beaten Ennis only after Crawford had already stepped away from boxing. He also highlighted the contradiction in the argument, pointing out that many of those same people previously claimed there wasn't enough interest in making the matchup happen. From his perspective, the sudden change in opinion says a lot about how the conversation surrounding Crawford and Ennis has evolved.
The only thing that bothers me is all of you booty buddies out there talking about, hey, Terence Crawford will whoop Boots. Boots ain't ready for Terence Crawford. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Shut your ass up. Because we were saying this a while back, a year ago, even more than that. Terence Crawford versus Boots, and what y'all say? There's no money in it. Nobody want to see that. Nobody want to see that. So now that everybody's past it, here come y'all booty buddies. Hey, Terence Crawford whoop his ass. Don't talk now. He's retired now. It's over now. You ain't want to see it before, then shut your ass up now. This is the No Bull Jive episode. Get that shit out of here. We wanted Boots. versus Terence Crawford right after Errol Spence, and then he could fight Canelo because we knew.
Building on that argument, Showbiz praised everything Terence Crawford accomplished during his remarkable career, but admitted that he doesn't expect the former champion to return. Because of that, he considers a Crawford-Ennis matchup unrealistic at this point. Instead, he directed attention toward Boots' future and specifically mentioned a potential fight with Sebastian Fundora, which he believes could develop into an outstanding and extremely competitive contest.
That is all over with. The guy's retired, all right? Terence Crawford ain't coming back. He was great. He's definitely a special fighter, all-time great fighter, but he's gone. He's retired. So Boots versus Bud will never happen. Forget about it.
I don't worry about coming back to prove anything, because me coming back and proving something to people that it doesn't matter, what never matters. To credit Boots, like, he's a tremendous talent and he's no walk in the park for no one.
Boots right now is doing the proper thing and negotiating with Fundora, and that shit's a barn burner. I have no idea who wins that. I'm damn nearly.
Andre Ward also pushed back against the growing speculation surrounding a Crawford versus Ennis showdown. Although he understands why fans continue demanding the matchup, Ward believes the moment for that fight has already passed. He emphasized Crawford's historic accomplishments, including becoming a champion across multiple weight divisions before defeating Canelo Alvarez. In Ward's view, those achievements place Crawford among a rare group of fighters whose accomplishments will be extremely difficult for future generations to match.
Crawford realistic, you think, or they're just like, nah, it's not gonna happen?
Of course it's not gonna happen. Listen, my man TC did the unthinkable, the unbelievable, the unimaginable. He knocked off Canelo from 3 weight classes below. And I'm TC all the way.
But if he doesn't decide to retire, sticks around, maybe tries to fully unify 160, is there a world where you could see Jaron Ennis and Terence getting it on because there's just so much attention for it?
Well, I think it's attention, but
Bob Arum provided another explanation for Crawford's extraordinary success throughout his career. He described Terence as one of the most complete fighters of his generation and said defeating someone with Crawford's overall skill set requires an exceptional opponent. Arum specifically praised Crawford's ability to switch naturally between orthodox and southpaw positions, forcing opponents to make constant adjustments and making him an extremely difficult fighter to prepare for.
Fighter. And, it would take a real wizard to beat him. Crawford has something that no other fighter around has, and people haven't commented on it, and that is he fights equally well as a southpaw or as a right-hander. And so when you train for a fight, usually the fighter he's fighting trains for him as an orthodox fighter, right-handed fighter. And so from the first round on, he'll turn southpaw, and the guy isn't ready.
Paulie Malignaggi offered another perspective, acknowledging that Jaron Ennis clearly has the talent required to build an outstanding legacy. However, he believes it is much too early to declare this era completely dominated by Boots. Malignaggi pointed out that elite fighters such as Shakur Stevenson and Naoya Inoue are still competing at the highest level. In his view, boxing currently features one of its deepest collections of talent rather than belonging exclusively to a single fighter.
And in a case like this is like the Boots era, right? So, with you who understands multi-divisions, do you kind of see Jaron kind of being one of those next guys, if anything, kind of following the footprints of...
I think he have to. He's a great fighter. He can start his own era like what he's doing now, but he got a lot of guys he got to compete with, like Shakur. He got Inoue. Those guys are young and still fighting. So
yeah.
I ain't gonna really call it the Boots era. I just think he's a great fighter.
Bernie the Boxer emphasized the importance of showing respect toward the legends who helped shape modern boxing. He believes younger fighters should choose their words carefully when discussing veterans who paved the way before them. In his opinion, Ennis could have approached questions about Crawford differently, explaining that sharing the ring with someone of Crawford's caliber would represent both an enormous challenge and a valuable opportunity. Even while strongly supporting Boots, Bernie continued to recognize just how great Crawford has been.
They don't got no fucking, they don't even know who they are. They don't have no sense of self. No sense of self. Yeah. You're supposed to respect your elders. You're supposed to respect your elders. That's it. You're supposed to respect your elders. He said, he could have answered that way better. I would have loved to fight Crawford. If it truly would have lined up, it'd have been an honor to share the ring with Crawford. Can't say who would have won. I would believe I would have won, but Crawford is a great fighter, and it's never going to be any easy time with him. And all I can say was that it'd have been a great, tremendous honor. But he didn't say, he said that stupid shit because they keep saying, people still don't want to hear that, And again, like I said this, and I'm done. I don't want to talk about Boots no more as far as dealing with Crawford. He had the opportunity to make himself align with Crawford, but he didn't do that. That's it. This is the simplest route. That was the simplest way. Stay in the WBO rankings. Because WBO, they award their mandatories. They do that. I don't know about nobody else, but the WBO, they keep their mandatories. So if you are, like he said on $1 million worth of game, Crawford won the welterweight title in 2018. So if you've been wanting to fight Crawford since 2018, you finally up close into the rankings.
Brian Norman Jr. compared the two fighters and identified several similarities between them. He believes both Ennis and Crawford possess exceptional athletic ability, can switch comfortably between stances, and generate offense from numerous angles. However, Norman believes Crawford has an advantage because of his extensive championship experience, victories over elite opposition, and continued development while competing across multiple weight divisions. In Norman's assessment, those experiences have helped make Crawford the more polished and complete fighter.
Cancels out each other as far as height. They both switch hitters, lifts, and everything. All of that cancels out each other. So they are literally the same people, pretty much. The only difference is Crawford done been in the big stage against big fighters so many times. And also, with age, he didn't beat up his body, so his age is actually good. He got the grown man strength. He not just grown man strength, but he built on top of that. Like, look at him at 135. He was a little scrawny dude. He wasn't a big dude. Now look at him. He ripped up everything. He's strong. So sure. I feel like he got everything, all the experience, all the knowledge. So
Even though Crawford versus Ennis never materialized, the debate surrounding the potential matchup continues to dominate boxing conversations. Fighters, trainers, analysts, and fans all have different ideas about how the fight might have played out. And perhaps that's exactly what makes it so fascinating. It remains one of boxing's biggest unanswered questions. What do you think? If Terence Crawford and Jaron "Boots" Ennis had actually fought, who would have won and why? Drop your prediction in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest boxing news and updates.